Believe me, I'm no friend of the World Health Organization. I think they're another elite group that thinks they can do any damn thing they want. Excuse my language, but it really is ticking me off. And then we get idiots like Fox News reporting this and telling us that they're going to come into our homes and check us out and take people out of the homes that are sick. I think this has went way too far, and it's time to rise up and tell them to go to hell.
Remove family members, presumably by force.
In most parts of the world, due to lockdown, most of the transmission that's actually happening in many countries now is happening in the household, at family level. In some senses, transmission has been taken off the streets and pushed back into family units. Now we need to go and look in families to find those people who may be sick and remove them and isolate them in a safe and dignified manner.
Just so you know, we're coming to your house, seizing your children and, quote, isolating them in a safe and dignified manner, whatever that means.
What about testing before any of this is done? This is crap. As far as I'm concerned, this is crap. I don't want to listen to these idiots either. Again, I hate Fox News and their crap and their fear that they make up. Here's some more crap from Fox News.
60 people who showed up to give blood, 40 tested positive for coronavirus. None had shown symptoms of it. None knew they had it. Keep in mind that Lombardy has been strictly locked down by government order since March 9th. That's almost a month ago. Yet
they're making money off all this fear, all this crap. This is Fox News. They had nothing better to do than to talk about this.
Joblessness came in well above death of a close friend, to put it in some perspective. If you ever found yourself unemployed with dependents to take care of, you understand this. Unfortunately, many of our policymakers don't understand. They've never been in that position. They never will be. Our professional class doesn't have much interest in middle-class job loss or its consequences. We know that because they've essentially ignored it for decades, not to mention the family disintegration and the drug epidemics it has spawned. So far...
Anyhow, I hate their crap. Not going to support it anymore. We could do better than this as a nation of people and as a world. We need testing, we need humanity, and we need decency. First of all, we need testing. Second of all, they shouldn't be able to come in our homes unless it's by testing and it's volunteer, and shouldn't be able to drag people out of the home. We should be able to self-medicate unless people are so ill that they need professional help. And we need to test in several ways. One is if we've got the coronavirus, we have antibodies. If we've got antibodies that are sufficient, we don't need to be taken to the hospital. Only people that would need to be taken to the hospital would be those with high fevers or that are really sick. And can the medical staff, can the police really do this? Do they really have the staff to do this? Really, will it be important to do this? And frankly, we're losing all these rights over this picking disease, and it was planned. It was planned to do this to take away our rights, to force us to do things we shouldn't have to do. It's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. We're losing our rights over this disease. And we'll probably have more economic fallout over this thing that's more important than deaths. Especially single mothers and other individuals with families. If they're unemployed, they're having a tough time. And the money's probably more important than the deaths or loss of others or friends. This is just ridiculous. But it shows, the important point of this is it shows how far we've gone as a world for totalitarian mindset, that the administrative, the police, the state, the federal government have more authority to come into our homes and do things and force us to do things, just like Nazis would, just like other regimes have done. This is just another excuse to abuse your power, and it's ridiculous. To have any decency, they would be getting these tests out to families and individuals, helping them self-test. It'd be simple enough instructions to test this, do this. And the question is, do we have tests simple enough to do this, get it done right? People have problems, to go see medical professionals. Do it from the inside out, not from the outside in. This is ridiculous. This is extreme. And thanks Fox News for their fear and their crap, just like the other major networks. They really tick me off. Don't support these major networks. They're anti-American, they're anti-freedom, and they're anti-American Constitution, as far as I'm concerned. They pretend to be conservative, and they're not. They're not. It's Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Take it or leave it. This is how I see it, and it is frightfully scary, the powers that are being used on us in a totalitarian way. That is ridiculous. Ridiculous. And it goes against the Constitution, goes against our freedoms and rights, goes against conservative attitudes and the religious powers and political powers. And it shows you how abusive the government can be. And we haven't seen anything yet. That's what's real scary. I do like Laura Ingram's stuff better. But she starts the intro out with Joe Biden and the science guy. Yeah, he's about as science guy as a teacher in high school. Worse. They suggest the DNC convention be canceled. Wouldn't hurt my feelings any.
Pence was telling Biden that Democrat convention, which is still months away, may need to be canceled. Joining me now is Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, you felt this coming, didn't you not, that this was going to be a keep this going through the fall so we don't have to have conventions, probably not even a campaign, no debates, and maybe not even traditional voting. It all has to be done by mail.
Well, look, I think Biden is terrified of the Bernie brothers. He doesn't want to go to a Democratic convention because he's scared of the activists, because he knows they don't want him. And you can see, have you ever seen a presumptive nominee hide from the American people like Joe Biden is? It's unprecedented.
Well, I've never seen anything like it, and I've never seen anything like people concluding many months out that things need to be canceled or things need to be virtual, which means that they're not, certainly not as meaningful to folks. It's just, I mean, why do they feel like the need to do that now? But you get the sense that the Democrats feel, some of the fringe at least, feels like this is the only way to ensure that they have a chance against Trump to keep this thing going all the way to the fall.
Well, I think they're scared of whatever gaffes, what Biden might say. I think they also, you see the media, much of the mainstream media, trying to root for disaster. They're rooting for this pandemic to be worse and worse. And you saw, the Washington Post self-proclaimed fact checker was cheering about a line from the State of the Union where the president said we had the lowest unemployment in 50 years, and the Washington Post was saying, well, gosh, that didn't stand up well to the test of time. Well, no, you moron. We had the lowest African-American and Hispanic unemployment ever recorded until a global pandemic that originated in Wuhan in China came and ended up causing absolute chaos and catastrophe. But yet the media, we should be coming together to root for America, to root for defeating this pandemic and to root for jobs coming back. And I think too many partisan Democrats want to just use this catastrophe to attack Trump rather than come together and fight for our country.
Senator, here.
That's as simple as it gets. I'm going to leave it here. I know what else she has to say, but I think our media sucks. I know it does. It's just total asinine. And I'm going to leave it there. But I do think that the voting should be done by ballot. We should be getting rid of critical computer systems that are easily manipulated, and that computer voting should be stopped. But physical voting, we shouldn't do virtual voting, we should do physical mail-outs, and those lists should be carefully checked in the states. Take it for what it is. We live in a very dangerous time, and the totalitarian mindset of elites is greater than it has ever been. This doesn't chill you or scare you. You are sleeping. You are seriously sleeping. Again, this is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Take a stand, get involved. Politics matter, our rights matter, and they're being stripped away by this pandemic, so-called pandemic. And if you look outside the media, we still don't know how valid the tests are. We still don't have valid numbers on our numerator and denominator. And it is pathetic, because if we don't have valid tests and we don't have numbers, valid numbers, how do we know really where we're at? And we don't. And Laura Ingraham brought this up as one of the most vital things that has been brought up. And yet hardly anybody else has talked about this besides Alex Jones has talked about it, but hardly anybody else has talked about it. What will it take to get valid tests, valid numbers, and to know really where we're at and not be played by the media? Will we ever know? That's another question. We pride ourselves on being transparent and being honest. That's real questionable. And look at this. This was from Skype. This is from Skype that she's talking to Ted Cruz. Think about that. Good day.